Are we in a recession?
Personally, do I think we are? Yeah.
You can't possibly print that much money and think that it's going to be okay.
If so, for how long, and will it affect you?
I don't think this recession will last more than 6 to 12 months.
I have no clue where we're heading.
Now is the time where you got to double down, you got to work hard.
I spoke with some of the world's biggest financial experts to find out how they are planning to profit from this recession. These people have helped millions make more money. So,
how do you think people can profit during a recession?
I think the best opportunities now are buying cash flowing websites. So it can be small businesses, because cash flow is king right now, and you just roll it up and it's immediately earnings accretive.
Do you go to like Flippa or MicroAcquire or Empire Flipper or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, those sites definitely have a lot of listings. You can run a website, just a simple blog, for example, with a 99% margin, because it only costs $5 a month, right? Or free if you want to just go the free route. And if you have any skills in generating more traffic, more revenue, it's a no-brainer. If you can identify online businesses that have been around a while, that have built a brand, that is actually a really great opportunity. People selling for 3 times earnings when the S&P 500 is trading at 16 times earnings, I mean, they're getting, I think, robbed.
I'm keeping a little bit more cash than I typically would do. Why? I suspect there'll be an opportunity to purchase certain assets at really low prices. There are opportunities when prices go way, way, way down. When those opportunities come around, they don't come around that often. That is an opportunity to pounce.
Buy and hold index funds. I mean, that's like the simplest thing that anyone could do. It's so easy and people want to complicate it. It's like so simple.
What opportunities do you see? Like, what do you see on the horizon?
Where's the opportunity right now? I'm not a stock picker. I'm not an industry picker. So I'm probably the wrong person for that question. But I'll give you the very broad view of this, which is that like there's no question in my head that 10 years from now, we're going to look back and say, because the world was on fire for years or more, there's all these amazing innovations that we all benefit now from that happened specifically because of that. The supermarket came about from the Great Depression. Before the Great Depression, you went to the bread store and then you went to the cheese store. And during the Great Depression, most of those companies went bankrupt. And the only way that you could sell food was by integrating everything under one roof. If you could put a bunch of stuff under one roof and get those economies of scale, then it could work.
I would be looking for opportunities of what people are looking for during a recession to spend their money on. If they don't have that much, people are still going to be circulating money for things that they desperately need. I believe in the e-learning industry so much. It's just such a big industry and it's going to double by 2026, they reckon, to like $370 billion. Worst case scenario, people need to learn how to grow their food. You might not make a lot of money from this, but you're going to make some sort of money. So creating content to teach people how to do anything that there might be an opening in the market for. Like, you really have to find opportunities for what people are searching for at the time, and this is going to shift throughout the recession.
That is interesting. One of the opportunities you see during the recession is that there's still people wanting e-courses and learning. Like, how would you figure out what people want to buy?
I mean, you have endless research online. Go on any comment thread on YouTube, Reddit, anywhere. You are just filled with all these problems people have. You're going to have feedback all around you all the time. So how can you get your skill set, plug it into what's needed in the world?
What are your other rich friends doing during this time?
My rich friends are tired as hell. What's the point of working more to make more money? The rich friends are the ones who are spending money, they're buying vacation properties that hopefully are on sale. The funny thing is, during a recession, you actually want to spend more money because, one, you're getting better deals on things you don't need, right? Clothing, watches, all. You don't need that stuff, but you can get better deals. What's the point of having money? You want to work hard, save and invest during a bull market, so you get the biggest return on effort and the biggest return on investment. So you actually want to spend to kind of buffer the downside until the good times return again.
How do you think regular people can prepare for the recession?
Well, you should probably bulk up an emergency fund. How do you create an emergency fund? It's really simple. Take your expenses that you would need just to keep the lights on. I'm not talking about Netflix subscription and eating out at all these fancy places. That's going away. 3 to 6 months is a good number. Calculate that. If it's, let's just say for easy math, it's $1,000 a month. Okay, you need $3,000 for your emergency fund. Let that money sit in cash, knowing it's not there to make you money. It's just there for an emergency.
I would say, number one, you have to be employed. You have to make sure that you're saving money and you have to be investing. They sell your car and get something more affordable. Is that gonna save you $300 a month? If so, that's like you're getting paid $300 a month. You may as well save the money.
In your index funds, do you have a high level what you can recommend? Is it like global, US, mostly stocks?
What I typically recommend for people, the simplest way to get started is just a target date fund. It is one fund. You pick it based on how old you are, and that's it. It's automatically diversified. And over time, it automatically gets a little bit more conservative. They're just simple. It's one fund and you can do the same fund in all your different accounts. It's great.
I don't know if I want money floating around because of inflation. So I want to put it in assets. My favorite assets are real estate and precious metals. So I want to have a little bit of cash on hand just in case. I'm always on the lookout of how can I improve as a person? How can I improve and become more valuable to the public, that I can help them more, and look for opportunities at all times.
I dollar cost average into a base of index funds. It's as boring as you could possibly make it. I think I'll have the highest chance of sticking around for the longest period of time and actually letting that money compound for the next 50 years and ending up with more money than I would have if I had a more flashy, exciting allocation, even if that allocation earned higher returns in most years.
What are you doing with your finances?
I do my best to diversify as much as possible. I'm like 20% in cash. I'm like 50-50 between real estate and stocks. I got 5% of my portfolio in crypto. It's extremely diversified to the point where I got so many different legs to stand on.
Real estate, a little less than 10% of the net worth. Cash, a little less than 10%, and the rest stocks. It's super simple.
How are you approaching crypto right now?
I've been buying a little bit every week, sometimes every few days for the last year and some change. I continue to do that, but that is less than 5% of my portfolio. But if that goes to zero, it doesn't matter.
I've never owned crypto, and that's never bothered me in the slightest. Everything that we know about investing history for going back a century or more is that chasing the shiny object is what screws people. It's what ruins people. I mean, just before I jumped on this call, I saw a headline that 3 Arrows Capital is being liquidated. 3 Arrows Capital is like some of the smartest crypto investors that are around. That's a story that is repeated throughout history, and I think always will.
Did you make any changes, or like any major changes in how you shifted your financial approach?
No, because investments should not be exciting. Investments should be boring, like watching concrete dry, and they should actually be profitable.
Didn't change in anticipation of a recession. I mean, I've always, and I recommend everybody do this, you should look at your net worth asset allocation by age. So I followed an asset allocation where it's more heavy towards income producing assets versus more speculative growth assets.
Do you think we're headed into a recession? For how long?
I have to say yes, I think so. Only because of what happened during 2020. Like, we have to see the repercussions of what we did during that time. You can't possibly print that much money and think that it's going to be okay.
I think 80% probability we're heading into recession. First quarter GDP was down 1.6%. So if the second quarter GDP goes down again, we're in a recession.
I have no clue where we're heading or how high inflation is going to get or whether it's going to cause a recession or whether we're in a recession or whether we just finished a recession. I think the more room for error you have in your finances and just more you are able to withstand is the best that we can do.
Is there anything you think people should not be doing?
What you shouldn't do is blow up your relationships, because at the end of the day, the people who like you are the ones who are going to take care of you, offer you new investment opportunities, new job offers, new contract work.
I would say don't be scared, as long as you just don't sit there and mope and be like, oh, the world is falling apart. No, the world is changing. The world is shifting. It's not going to be fun. It's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna suck at times. You might lose everything. I might lose everything. You're not gonna die.
If you like this video, you are going to love this video right up here where I knock on millionaires' doors and ask them how to get rich. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Uncle Noah loves you, and I'll see you out there. Pew, pew.